Hi everybody, it's Matt from the Sorry I've Been So Busy podcast. No new episode of the podcast this week. We hope to have another one for you next week. In the meantime, we are re-releasing an episode we did a little while back with comedian and writer Nimesh Patel. Nimesh is a really funny comedian who wrote for SNL, and he's been in the news a little bit recently for a show that he did at Columbia University that went kind of interestingly. He wrote a great op-ed about it for the New York Times that I recommend you checking out if you have a chance. And in the meantime, enjoy this episode we did with Nimesh, who's a really nice, really funny guy. And we'll be back soon with more new episodes. So for myself and Andrew, stay busy, everybody.
Until I met my new best friend, all of my boys say I'm tripping. When they call, I'm not answering. They always get my voicemail.
Alex, are we rolling? We are rolling. Welcome to another episode of Sorry I've Been So Busy. This is the podcast where we talk to very busy people about what they're busy with. Sometimes we talk to not very busy people about what they pretend to be busy with all day to get out of things. Andrew Goldstein is here.
At Ange Gold on Twitter, ANGEGOLD.
I'm Matt Goldich, at Matt Goldich on Twitter, MattGoldich. We're here at Showbiz Studios. We're here with our guest. Andrew, would you please do the honors of introducing our guest for today? Somebody we both know a little bit.
I worked with this gentleman, very funny guy, on a show we've talked about on this show many times. We've had many of the cast members on, Vidiots, which I produced last year.
Yeah,
so good.
He shared the couch with former guest of the podcast, Jared Freed.
Can I tell you something? Sorry to interrupt.
No.
Please. I was rambling.
But I want to say like 6 months ago, or like a year ago, my cousin was in South Africa, in Johannesburg, and he turns the TV on.
I love this.
He turns the TV on, he's flipping through the channels. He's like, yo, that's Nimesh.
Yeah.
And it's me and Jared on the Vidiots. It's an episode of Vidiots that I'm in, and my cousin's in South Africa, turns the TV on and sees me.
Dude.
And he sends me a picture. He's like, dude, you're on TV.
That makes me so happy because our whole thing was who was seeing this show?
It was amazing.
Because we made it for MTV International, so somebody actually saw it,
Yeah.
not on MTV2 here in America. They saw it in Johannesburg.
Yeah, my cousin. Immediately sent it to Ryan. Like,
It was you hating a video from Britney Spears or something.
Probably, yeah.
But anyway, and now he works at Saturday Night Live, Nimesh Patel.
Hi, thank
Welcome
you guys
to the
for
show.
having me. Thank you very
Now,
much.
I want to make sure we have this right. Is it because you say Nimesh?
It's Nimesh.
Nimesh.
That's
Sorry.
what my mom said.
I
That's
thought
like
it was
me,
Nimesh
Goldstein,
too.
Goldstein. I say my mom says Stein,
Yes.
so it's
Yeah.
Stein.
My wife says Steinstein thing
Whatever,
in her
bro.
family, but yeah. Okay, so it is Nimesh, and we know each other a little. You're also a very funny stand-up comedian. We ran into each other a couple weeks ago over at not the Cellar,
At the
but the other
Fat Black
one.
Pussycat.
Fat
at the
Black
Cellar,
Pussycat, yes,
where
yeah.
Ryan Reese has that Comedians of Seth Meyers show.
Yes, that's right, and it's great to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, especially this would be we should say it's around 11 in the morning. Now, is this early for you? I mean, like, or are you an early? We'll get more into your day later, but
I'm definitely a morning person in that, like, I can't sit in bed past like 9 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Like, even if I'll try, like on
Even
weekend.
as a comic who's out till, let's say, 2, 3 in the morning,
Yeah.
you're still up at 9.
Yeah,
Like,
I
need
mean,
to go.
I think I used to have a day job. I mean, I still have a day job, but like a regular person's day job, and it would be like, get up at 8, go to work, and then
Right.
work till 6 or 7, and then I would do mics and then come home and then do that again. But I think I just got into a habit of doing that.
You're like Trump. You only need like 4 hours of sleep, and then you're
I wish
highly
you got more
functioning.
You're very much like Trump.
Yeah.
My
Nimesh Patel, you're very much like Donald Trump.
I wish I could do this over the.
Yeah.
He was making hand gestures.
What was I gonna say? Oh, my like ideal sleep model to emulate would be like Kobe Bryant's. He sleeps like 4 hours a night and then takes like an hour nap, and it's just like the greatest fucking guy on the planet.
Or like Vince McMahon does like 2-hour intervals, wakes up to eat and work out, goes back to bed, wakes up.
It's like Kramer.
Yeah. He has to eat. He has all these tiny meals throughout the day.
Here's the crazy question, though, right?
He's a genetic jackhammer.
Like, what if Kobe Bryant is wrong, and if he had slept like 9 hours a night, would be even better? Like, isn't that like insane to think about?
I mean, LeBron sleeps like 9 to 12 hours,
right?
And he like takes naps and shit. And it's just like I don't know.
Oscar nominee Kobe Bryant.
That's right. Yeah.
True that.
Yeah, I mean, different strokes for different folks, I guess. I don't know.
Weber told me he at the Oscar nominee lunch, when they all take the photo, he chest bumped Kobe Bryant.
Nice.
When
Yeah.
they mutually said,
Our friend and former guest.
is an Oscar nominee
for having written.
the Disaster Artist.
Yeah. You wrote for the Oscars, right?
Yes, I wrote for the 88th Academy Awards with
1988. You wrote the Oscars.
Yeah, big one.
I was
No.
2.
Yeah.
Billy Crystal. No, that's amazing. First of all, I think Matt and I both could say it's like a bucket list thing to write on.
It was fun. It was such a weird thing to like. That was my first writing job to like sort of dive into that with Chris Rock.
You really started at the bottom. Buddy.
Yeah, it was just.
You're like
random.
a Drake song come to life.
How'd that
Dude,
happen?
it was so nuts.
How'd you get that? No, I'm just kidding. No.
That would be a great podcast, by the way.
How'd you get that? Yeah.
It's just like a struggling
Yeah.
comic.
Just like, and then like the co-host like taking notes, like, okay, so
Is this
like,
even connected?
yeah, yeah. Do you have his email? Yeah.
This is a segment we call "Do you have that person's contact?"
Yeah. Would you pass along my resume? Yeah.
Would you read this?
Chris Rock came to watch. I used to host a show called Broken Comedy, which you've done before.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
It no longer exists because the bar got sold and gentrification. Whatever.
By the way, sorry to interrupt. Let's get back to that. It was a weird bar. I remember, like, wasn't like the comedy show in the back and then in the front there'd be people who were super into like motocross
Yes,
or something.
that's exactly what it was.
What?
So,
What's explain it to Andrew? Yeah, it was very strange.
Bar Matchless. So Matchless is a brand of motorcycles, and Bar Matchless at the corner of Manhattan and Driggs in Williamsburg / Greenpoint was like one of the only motorcycle bars in the city. And so,
But it's not a biker bar.
it's not like a biker when you think of
just
like Hell's
enthusiasts.
Angels and
Right.
But no, I mean there were people. There were
Wow.
like
There's something
Harleys
for
and,
everybody.
a lot of like old motorcycles parked outside.
And
Constantly.
you walk in there and go, "Can I do a comedy show in the back?"
Yeah, so Mike Denny, who founded the show, like who found the venue, was like, there's a back room back there. Can we do a comedy show back there? Because he used to do like rock shows, and I think like Hannibal and Damian Lemon had started a comedy show there forever ago, but it just didn't take or whatever. And then in the back of this biker bar is a venue.
Unbelievable.
So it was
awesome.
unclear to me. Were people watching like live motocross?
Live motocross,
Yeah.
motorcycle racing, and every time it was on,
ESPN 7.
It was. I don't know how they got it. It was weird. Yeah.
it was like you could see the wiring going through the ceiling for like the satellite.
Yeah.
But
So you had this show in the back of a bar for how long? It was like
6 years.
It was a great show.
So, thank you very much.
And I wonder how many people walking into the bar, whether you could tell immediately whether they were there for the comedy or for the motocross.
Yeah, I mean, the show would end. I mean, the motorcycle races would usually end around like 10 o'clock after like one big like for the finish, and then more people would come in, and they would be like people in like leather vests, like, and we just like.
Right. You just like sidle up to a guy at the bar and he's like, "I love Kawasaki motorcycles and Kristen Shaw."
Yes.
we built like some motorcycle fans ended up being fans of the show, and they would like make the Monday night, watch the races till 10, and then come in.
Yeah.
And it would
So
just be
funny.
cool.
Many, many years ago, Chris Jurek and I used to host a comedy show in a bar, in the back of a bar, and it was one of those ambush type things where, they would let people drink the people would be drinking in the bar, and then you'd have to let people know, like, there's a comedy show starting in here in like an hour, and so like you can either choose to stay and like watch the show, or like, we didn't want to like spring it on people. But it was also this bar where once a month, the show was every other week, and once a month the Doctor Who fan club would have their meeting there.
Hilarious.
And they would, we told them, we were like, and they were like, no, we'll stay. And they ended up being some of our best audience. They would
course,
stay and come
that's awesome.
like on, yeah.
So Chris Rock walked into this.
So Chris Rock was there to check out another comic, and then Chris was late, so I had to go up, and as going up, I saw Chris walk in. I was like, oh, crap. Normally I just screw around in that show, but I was like, oh, Chris is here. I have to perform. And then just did a set, and it was great. Chris was like, you're funny. I was like, you're Chris Rock, who's special, by the way, drops today.
Yes.
And then 4 months later, I got an email saying, hey, or I got a phone call from my manager saying some guy from the Oscars called, said Chris Rock wants you to write for him.
Oh my goodness.
And I got an email from a friend of Chris's emailing me the same thing like 10 minutes before, and I was like, what? And then contract came. I was like, holy shit, I'm going writing for the Oscars.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Who was
Yeah.
in the room?
It was a fairly big room.
Michelle Wolf wrote for that.
Wolf was in the room.
'Cause I was working with her at the time.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
on set at the time, I think. Wolf was there, Langston Kerman, Vanessa Ramos. Those are like the
Yeah.
four of us who I feel like we were like the less
Right.
seasoned writers.
Yeah.
Or at least just
And then a bunch of old,
relative.
and then a bunch of old Jews.
And like Bruce
Yeah.
Valanche. Is
No, what's his name? Scott Ackerman was there.
Oh, yeah.
Neil Casey was there. And then there were like some legends in the room, like Rodney Barnes was there, Mike Ferrucci.
Yeah. It was a crazy
Frank
year
Sebastiano.
because
Like it was nuts.
it was they hired.
And of course, John Max, who
Yeah.
you might have worked with.
No, I don't think so.
He's
but
written
I
on
know
my
the name. Yeah.
Sure.
the last 20 or something.
the
else.
guy.
He's the guy.
It was a crazy year because they hired Chris Rock to host the Oscars because, like, when would you not want to have Chris Rock host the Oscars? Like, obviously. And then it happened to be that year where there were no black nominees, and it was a big scandal.
It was.
And, then
I'll give you when I got that job, typical day. So up until the nominations came out.
yeah,
And so, like, at that time, I was working at, like, a private equity or family office, like, during my day job in finance. But, that job was winding down, so I was, like, taking time at home I would literally just watch movies and write as many jokes as I could. Like, 2 or 3 movies a day, just write as many jokes, and then save them so that whenever they wanted jokes, I could just send them in.
Load your gun.
Exactly. And then, so I did that up until basically, I think mid-January when the nominations came out. And I was like, oh, well, all these jokes are fucking done.
yeah.
Right? And it's like, oh, all right, well, we got a new Oscars to write. Chris will, is going to take the lead. And obviously, who better than the best comic
It all worked out.
about race relations to talk about?
And when I say it all worked out, I mean race relations.
Yes.
Oscars-wise, it's worked out better, certainly.
Chris solved races.
They can only handle one controversy at a time. So now, this year in the with all the other harassment and misconduct story going on, the race stuff we've pretty much solved.
Yeah.
We've handled.
No, but
that.
honestly, look where we are. Like Get Out. You have
Sure.
Jordan Peele first black original screenplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's my favorite movie of the year.
I liked it a lot. I think
it.
it's like technically very well executed.
Yeah,
agree.
a lot of good movies this year I liked.
It didn't have a fish person in it.
No, it did not. There was no
Usually
man on fish.
that's usually my barometer for great movie.
yeah.
Is
Someone
a
fucks a
humanistic fish.
Yes, that's what you want. That and
Like Mermaid
Splash,
was
yeah.
my.
Your story of like I guess I could tell this now, but writing all those jokes and then having them go out the window reminds me of one of my first big job I wrote on Letterman, and it was I got hired, and my first day was on a Monday, and that Thursday was the day he went on the air and told the whole story about how he got blackmailed and he had relationships with people in his office. It was like, it was a crazy story.
Right.
And then,
Oh, wow.
So I woke up Monday and I was actually, before I was working from home. I didn't have an office yet. So the first day I woke up, they go, okay, well, go write your first set of monologue jokes and send them in. So I go, okay. I'll write jokes about like President Obama or whoever's like whatever's happening at the time. I send them all in, and then he comes out and he does the whole monologue, and it's all about like the navigation lady won't talk to me. It's basically all about the scandal.
Right. You're like, where's my joke?
I know, and it was like this unbelievable monologue that everybody talked about like for weeks, and it was like and then of course it was my first day, so my parents were like. People I know like, did you write any of those jokes? And I was like, no, I didn't write jokes about my boss's like sex life on my first day. I was like, I'm not crazy. And then at the end of the day, the head monologue writer was like, yeah, we're not going to touch that anymore. We're going to and I was like, good, because I'm not touching it anyway. It was such a random day to start.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Oh man,
I'm sure you were like, is this show going to continue?
Yeah. So did you ever?
Did you attempt any swings at like a joke about?
No.
No.
I mean, maybe in a text message to somebody else, but not. But
Not that
yeah,
written up.
no. Yeah. So did you ever like think of yourself? I mean, because how long had you been doing stand up at that point?
That was what? I was like probably 5 years in at that point.
And did you have like
5 or 6.
aspirations to be a writer, or was that just like out of the blue that like?
I've entered comedy with just wanting to do stand up and then taking whatever opportunities present themselves. And this was one that fit that mold perfectly.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, of course I have to do this.
Yeah.
There's never a consideration to not, and it just this writing path has just sort of unfolded in front of me.
Yeah.
And then post Oscars, that just opened up some doors.
Post Oscars, it was. I'm just trying.
More finance jobs.
Yeah, those were done.
All the banks came.
Everyone,
Yeah.
I sent out my resume. Like at the top was Oscars writer, and then below it was all this lack of experience from having crappy jobs. While doing stand up. No, I'm trying to remember after the Oscars, like how it was. It was a dark time in movies and in America. No, I think after the Oscars, I ended up writing on Comedy KO, which is on True TV.
Sure. Damian Lemon.
Yeah, I did that for like a summer, and then I worked with Awkwafina on her talk show.
Right.
But it was never like a.
Oh, Alex is chiming in. He worked on that, right? Yeah.
Alex was the talent booker on the
awesome
show.
I think I was on the. I want to say season 4, but with Go 90, it's so weird. Like I don't know how they break what it is, but yeah. With like Heems was on it. Andy Milanakis was on it.
Oh wow.
Andy Schmilakis.
Yeah, which I wrote a rap for, and he read like 2 or 3 lines, which is like the coolest fucking thing.
That's
nice.
But anyway, it was never like a steady writing job. Until SNL happened.
Yeah.
It was just like random stuff.
And you've always been? Are you from? Where are you from? The East Coast?
I'm from Jersey.
From Jersey.
But I've been in New York for I want to say probably like 10 to 13 years. Because I don't know if I'm supposed to count the year and a half or so that I moved home. And
Right. North, Central, or South Jersey?
North Jersey. It's Parsippany, so it's like 40 minutes out.
What's your mall?
Willowbrook.
Got it.
Well,
That's how I navigate.
It's Willowbrook
I've
or
done this on the
Rockaway.
podcast before.
Like we're sort of in the
Sure.
middle.
Got it.
I think there's a Parsippany reference on Seinfeld, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
What is it?
It's the episode where there's a mom and pop sneaker store, and they end up closing down. They take all the sneakers to Parsippany, New Jersey.
There you go.
Right. If you're growing up in Parsippany, I'm guessing that was probably a big deal.
was a huge deal.
Fucking Seinfeld. I mean, I don't remember it because I guess it was like 95 when that happened.
Yeah.
And I was like 10 or whatever. But I remember when the first time I saw that episode of Seinfeld, and I must have been like 16 or something, like in a syndication run. And just, that's hilarious.
Well, it's also a funny
Shout
name,
out.
so no wonder they're going to choose Parsippany over like Nutley. I guess Nutley's
Nutley's
funny
funny
too.
But it's
What's that? I mean, yeah, Linden. I don't know.
That'd be a weird thing to ask Jerry if you ever saw him or met him. Like, hey man, how did you come up with?
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love that.
Yeah.
At
Parsippany,
this
New
point,
Jersey.
he loves the random esoteric Seinfeld question.
Yeah, it's like the Shatner SNL.
Get a life!
Yeah.
I should have asked Larry David when he was at the show.
Oh yeah,
Fuck, I forgot.
that's a good one.
Next time.
Next
I'm sure
time.
he'll be back.
Yeah. I have the same thing because I grew up right near Conshohocken, which is always like a comedy reference. In fact, it was just on. They mentioned it in the what's it called? Tina Fey sketch with the Eagles and the Patriots fans. They mentioned
said
Conshohocken, which like
Conshohocken.
every like year or two, Conshohocken turns up as a comedy reference in something. Just 'cause
It's a great name.
Yeah.
I was just listening to Jordan Klepper on Fresh Air, and he was talking about every time Kalamazoo, like there's a old standard.
Yeah.
The Kalamazoo is in the name, and he was like, it was soundtrack of my life. Like people always talked about it.
He's from Kalamazoo.
He's from Kalamazoo,
oh, okay.
Michigan.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Conshohocken, though.
Yeah.
Where
It's
Conshohocken
some
is
kind of
outside
Native
of
American,
Philadelphia.
Native American word or
yeah.
something, which I don't know what kind of word Parsippany is. I'm not.
It's
is,
Native
Is it
American.
Native
Probably.
American? Yeah.
All of them.
Isn't that
Funny.
what a strange thing? Like you can't really be. Man, there's this whole area of comedy of like making like doesn't that name sound funny, and then it turns out it's like an ethnic name, and it's like then it's like that's not cool anymore.
It's
but then it's like the
2018.
Native American names we've just decided it's I guess we've
We
decided it's
treat them
okay.
So we treat the Native Americans so dirty, dude.
Yeah, it's
We
not-
just
it's
live in
re-
their town. Like my town is named Lake Hiawatha, where my parents live now. It's like adjacent to Parsippany, and even their fire trucks have like the Red Hawk on it,
Right.
and I'm just like,
Yeah.
what are you guys doing? It's all firemen are like notoriously racist, right? But I mean, Is this new knowledge?
I think it's okay. Yeah.
But
Well, after the Rachel Feinstein
Oh, my
episode,
God.
we have a lot of firemen listening.
no, it's so funny how we just like keep their names and then just shit on them.
Yeah.
In every other
Well,
way.
they're getting rid of Chief Wahoo.
I saw that
Yeah.
in Cleveland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have thought
Which
about
is not an Indian name in any
No, there's
in
nothing.
either.
I always
Kind
liked
of Indian.
I like. There's a wrestler named Chief Wahoo McDaniel.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
those stories I got nostalgic.
I have thought about like if I grew up a Redskins fan, like what would I do? Like would I be able to root for the team or would I draw the line
I get
at,
all the
like-
reasons to change it and everything, but I'm such a like weird purist that I'm like, don't just leave it alone. But I get that it's completely.
Yeah,
honest.
well, if you were a Native American, you
I
would
know,
feel differently.
but I'm like
Yeah.
weird, and I don't want anything to change.
But then, like, I don't know how they feel about Parsippany. You know, like, are they okay with it being
have no idea.
I don't know.
Can you spell Parsippany?
Parsippany.
Well done.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't
Grew
spell
up there.
Conshohocken. No, I know, but there might be a blockage.
What? Here's a cliche
It's
question.
a great password, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good
Oh,
one.
that's one- that's
yeah. Great. Well, actually, I would say now there's probably a lot of
Now we know Nimesh's password.
Oh no,
Yeah, I
my
know.
passwords are impenetrable.
Oh, okay, good.
I don't know.
That's
that.
another podcast we do. called-
Parsippany, but with the sixes for peace. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
another
yeah.
segment we do. Is
Yeah.
what are your passwords?
Yeah.
What passwords do you type on a daily basis?
Let us unlock your phone.
There, we seem to be having like a kind of a boom of like South Asian comedy, right? There's a lot. Is it Southeast? What do we call
Asian,
South Asian people? There's a lot of good comedy, like between
I think so.
like. Well,
Are you
hope
guys
so.
all friends?
I guess like
Yes, we are.
Kumail and like Aziz are sort of like the ones who sort
Aparna.
of like, and then now Aparna and like we had Akasha. It's like it's amazing. It's great. I think it's very cool.
Yeah,
but
it
I mean,
feels
like,
fun, man.
I'm just curious. Growing up, like, what, like, I mean, you're younger, so maybe it wasn't as. But how did you end up going into finance, and then like, did people think it was crazy when you had started doing comedy?
Well, I grew up as like pretty typical suburban Indian kid. In that like parents like you got to be a doctor kind of thing, and like I sort of bought the hype. I was like, yeah, I want to be a doctor, and it seemed cool.
Yeah, I'm into it.
And I still think it would be pretty cool to go back at some point and go get an MD or something. But
You'd be like that Richard Dreyfuss movie where you're the fun doctor. Oh no, Robin Williams. You're the fun doctor.
Patch Adams.
You'd be
Adams.
like
You're gonna
Patch
compare
Adams.
it to?
You'd be like Patch Adams.
Patel
Oh my God.
Adams.
There you go.
So I went to NYU freshman year. I was like, all right, let's do this whole pre-med thing. Bought it, and then was like, all right, well, Stern, the Stern School of Business.
Howard Stern.
Yes, the Howard Stern School at NYU of talking into a microphone was right there. So I was like, I want to transfer if I can, like get a finance major. I could still be pre-med, but like if I'm at one of the best finance programs in the country, might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So I transferred from like the College of Arts and Sciences to Stern, got a finance degree, graduated in 2008. Awful year to graduate.
Perfect time to have a finance.
Yeah.
degree.
Right.
You're right in there.
On top of that, like a lot of my peers deserved the jobs that they got, whereas I was vying for jobs that I was less than qualified
Yeah.
to get.
Now, when you're going to NYU, are you like dropping by the cellar and stuff?
No.
Or,
Well, the first time I had ever seen live comedy was freshman year at NYU. I was walking home from finals or from studying for finals, and I passed the cellar, and it's like a Tuesday or something. And like back then in 2004, the cellar was not what it is today, where it's like constantly packed. It was like
It wasn't in the credits of a TV show.
No, it was not. It was like what you would see in a typical club, where it's like 8 people on a Tuesday night, like, drunk or whatever. And that's what it was when I walked in, when they barked me in. But Chappelle was on stage, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's insane!" Then Dave Chappelle's right there.
Yeah.
And then after that, I would like think of like routines, but I would never. It would never be. It would just be like as like a talking exercise. It
Right.
would never be like
Work it into conversation.
Yeah, no, not even that, but just like in my brain, like
Yeah.
if I'm
Sure.
walking from one place to another. But it never even became a thing or thought until after graduation, when like a year after graduation, I hadn't had like a good job that I was like happy to have, that kept me in the city and like let me live the way my peers were living.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of bored with the job that I had, and I was like, fuck this. I should be doing more. I took like a real writing class as opposed to it was a dramatic nonfiction writing class at NYU. Like it's just like one of those course programs you could take, certificate programs. I took like one course, and I was like, this is stupid. Felt sappy or whatever. And then I was like, what else can I do just as an outlet? And I was like, I like stand up, and I never had a fear of talking in public, so I gave that a shot, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And that was
Where'd you get up with that first time?
Starch Factory, August 19th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In New Brunswick. Shout out.
Yeah. Back then it was like a big bringer show on their open mics. I brought like 20 cousins.
Yeah.
Got to do like 4 minutes. I planned 5. It ended up being like 3, I think. And then
that's great. Just send out the blast to your cousins.
Yeah. And like 20 of them showed up, and it was cool.
I've said this before that bringer shows are underrated in a way because they have such a terrible reputation, but it's a great way to build your confidence early on, where it's like as opposed to like performing at an open mic, like you're going to get a way better audience at a bringer show. If the sleaziness or whatever behind bringers didn't exist, then I think they would be a fun thing to do. And I definitely agree that as like a concept, like if you have 20 cousins that are willing to pay whatever to come see you. I mean, we were in the NBC Page program, and so like you would have it was like basically an extended year of college, and I had 50 people who were like, yeah, sure, like we go out every night, like, you know, and so
so many people saw like me do the same jokes like once a month for like 2 years.
That's awesome.
Like Kimowitz, who owns The Stand, he came on the podcast, told the whole story, but the way he got into comedy was going to awful bringer shows of mine and like Matt's and all of us like 15 years ago. And then he was like, I love this business. And he became a manager and then opened the club, and the rest is history.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's dope.
Was like that. I do want to, you were talking about like your cousins and everything. Which part of where does the stereotype stop or begin and stop in terms of like parents being like, you telling them I'm going to do comedy full time and them not being happy with that decision and wanting you to keep pursuing?
Well, I mean, once I had dropped
because now you're pretty successful.
I'm okay, but I think my parents' expectations from me were tempered when I dropped pre-med like junior year.
Right.
Did I not mention that? Yeah.
We're going to focus on the other children.
And then it was like so. And then when I started comedy, they were still like, I think at that point it was like, get a job with your finance degree that, you know, can set you on.
And then you can do whatever else.
And then do whatever the hell else you want. But I still, like, while pursuing work, I still did stand-up.
Yeah.
And then once I got a job that kept me in the city and, like, let me pay my own rent as opposed to living at home, they were like, all right. And since then, it's been
sweet Vidiot's paychecks.
Yeah, really, those saved me a lot. But what's it called? Like with them, it was just as long as I can stay sort of stable.
Right.
But then like when my jobs fluctuated, at some point it became like we can trust them to sort of navigate these waters as opposed to being like come home immediately kind of thing. Like what are you doing with your life?
That's great. It's not always the case.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Let's talk about your day. I mean, you're on hiatus right now from SNL. So, but give us like what was yesterday like for you?
What was yesterday like? All right, so,
or if there's a different day from this week that was more interesting.
I think yesterday was okay.
All right, what time did you wake up?
We know you're an early riser.
I usually wake up at like 8.
Alarm or
mental?
A bit of both. Like sometimes I'll beat my alarm, and sometimes my alarm will beat me, but it's usually 50-50.
You live alone?
No, I live with my girlfriend.
Okay.
And so she's also getting up around that time to like go to actual work.
Yes.
But I'll get up, I'll be awake, and I'll like look at my phone, see what I missed, and then like I like to get ahead of news, and so I'll just read the headlines from whatever.
Even when you're not working,
I've started. This is a new thing for me where at some point in the day or throughout the day, I'll try to read a headline and like read the story and like make a just immediate first thought reaction to it.
Yeah.
And just note it down in Evernote or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something I'll just randomly do throughout the day.
Yeah.
Because last week I posted this thing on Instagram where I felt like I hadn't process news for a week because on break I'm like, fuck all of this.
Yeah.
Right.
But it felt like
We should say you're up.
I write an update.
Yeah.
So you're like literally news up to your neck.
Yes,
all
every
week.
day.
Every day.
And so it felt kind of weird to not have that thing on Friday, on that like last Friday. Like, what the fuck's been going on during the week? I didn't really know, and I still like to know what's going on. It's just the minutia can kill you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I like to be aware of what's going on, so that's why I'll stay up on top of news. So last week I just started this thing. I posted this thing on Instagram called Weekend Review, and like I just had like 8 jokes or 8 thoughts about what had happened during the week, and like people DM me like, "Yo, you should do this every week." I was like, "That's not a bad idea."
Yeah.
To just to review the week for yourself and to keep sort of like a jogging pace for when we go back to update. You got to start running again.
You keep your
That is
reps
smart.
up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As the kids would say.
And it is something I want to get better at, which is just like trusting my first thought of
You got to trust the process.
of when I read something.
We
You know what I
fit
mean?
that into
Yes.
possible.
What I mean,
every
dude,
podcast.
trust the process. Like, is the greatest
It's
hashtag. What is it? Motto, mantra?
Yeah.
Like for an athlete recently, I think.
It's been
Trust
amazing.
the
I mean,
process
he's
is-
named himself the process
It's
because of it.
incredible.
It's really caught on.
Yeah, it's
And
a
it's
great.
applicable to anything.
Yeah, trust the process.
Shout out to Spike.
So you wake up at 8.
Who gave him that?
There's a podcast in Philly called the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. They're very obsessive Sixers fans.
Okay.
A guy in the media, Spike Eskin, and Michael Levin, who is a screenwriter in L.A. And this player, Tony Roten, claims to have said it the first time in an interview, and then they kind of blew it up as the mantra of the team and the whole Sam Hinkie era and the building of the team and the tanking, etc. And they claim credit, and rightfully so, I believe.
Okay.
And so it's been like spurred on by them. And now it's like a thing. Like it's on billboards, it's on T-shirts, it's
incredible.
his nickname. He says it at the end of interviews. Like he's like Hamburger the comedian. He'll say something and then he'll just go, trust the process.
It's incredible. I mean, shout out.
He
to
should host
Joel.
SNL.
Joel Embiid would be.
He would
be
crush it.
awesome. Sure.
First thing,
Imagine that.
first I got to get Foles, and then
You got to get
yeah.
Foles. Who was on Ellen?
Yeah. So you wake up and you're just looking at headlines in bed.
Just not.
Yeah.
It'd be like World Star or
Yeah.
Instagram or whatever the hell. But just like my eyes will start moving, and I'll make sure I check CNN. And,
Yeah.
Reddit at some point. Maybe like.
I'm going to venture to say you're the first update writer who gets your news from World Star.
My World Star.
Herb Sargent, I believe, was a huge.
Wow. Good pull. Good pull.
I don't know. It was Herb Sargent.
He's
Wait,
like
wait.
the originator.
Yeah.
The first.
I think
weekend
we only
update
know that
writer.
because there's an
Oh,
award
shit.
named after him. And
At the
there we go.
WGA Awards.
So you wake up, and then at what point do you get out of bed?
Usually around 8:30 or 9.
Yeah.
Do the morning bathroom stuff.
Coffee? You a coffee guy?
I just got a Keurig, and so yes,
Yeah.
even more so than I was before that. Usually, I'd like 9 times out of 10, I would just go down the street. I also like to make sure I'm outside at some point during the
Yeah.
day because on a hiatus.
Healthy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yesterday, what did I have in the morning? I don't remember. I had like coffee and what's it called? Frosted mini wheats.
Ooh. I used
get
to love
those in.
Frosted Mini Wheats.
Some almond milk to
There you
counteract
go. Yeah.
the sugar intake.
Frosted Mini Wheats feels like a good in-between cereal where it's like sugary but also healthy some way.
It's got that fiber, man.
Yeah. So
That and the coffee. Hey now.
so when did you leave the house for the first time yesterday?
Oh, I left at like 10:30. I had to go to the office to pick up Knicks tickets. And so I picked up some Knicks tickets, and then I decided it's a good thing to do, like change your work environment. And so I just went to the office to work instead of working at home.
I do that. I go to the
We talk
office a
about it all
lot
the
on
time.
hiatuses.
Yeah.
Hiatuses.
Yeah.
I mean, we record usually on Fridays, which Matt has off, but usually you go into the office.
Well, I also go. There's
the
a variety
gym.
of reasons. The gym is there, and that's the only gym I'm a member of, so I go there. Well, also, there used to be a situation where now my kid goes to school, but when he was home with the nanny, it was almost impossible to get anything done there. So I would go into the office. But yeah,
Got it. Yeah.
Were you going to the Knicks game that night? Is this going to be?
No, I'm going to the Knicks game tonight.
Oh.
But I had to pick up the tickets yesterday.
Got it.
So I got them yesterday, and then I think I stayed at the office for maybe 2 or 3 hours.
Have you enjoyed 30 Rock besides The Office? Like all the food downstairs?
I think that the first 2 or 3 weeks, I went and did my exploring of what food was down there and like just the shops or whatever. And then after that, now I just send an intern to
right.
either like go downstairs or now it's like go get me chopped or Indie Kitch, please. You know, like
I love Indie Kitch, by the way.
It's so good.
Where is it?
There's a few.
I haven't been there.
I didn't know there was one at 30 Rock.
There's one it's at 40. I'm gonna say 46th and 6th Avenue, 48th and 6th Avenue.
Ironic. Working on Vidiot's working at the Bird Brain office, which was on 55th. There's the Indie Kitch right
8th,
there on 8th, and I popped in. And the picture of the kati roll, it looked so good, but I kept getting bowls because I was like, I don't want to eat the carbs. The one Friday, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I got that. I was like, this is the best fast casual meal I've ever eaten.
It's so good.
Literally, like no exaggeration. I was like, this is the tea. And you get 2 of them.
Yeah. It's so good. And you get a side.
Get deep into the minutia. Very lunch
Dude,
heavy.
Indie Kitch should be in every fucking mall.
Indie Kitch is so good.
It's so good.
I mean, like, so...
Sponsored by Indie Kitch.
Do you try to stay...
Yes, this podcast is brought to you by Indie Kitch.
So obviously with the lack of sleep, you're not one of these people who, like, when the show is on, you need to, like, shift your body clock to, like, be, like, up. Because you're always up late at night doing sets.
Yeah, so, I mean, my body clock hasn't shifted as much.
And hiatus, whether it's hiatus or on, it's pretty much the same.
I could see some people starting out at SNL and it being, like, super not culture shock, but just shock of, like, that my whole schedule, I'm staying up late, etc. But you seemed pretty adjusted.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if I'm an anomaly, but I definitely know
you're a unicorn.
Unlike
Chris
the
Stapps.
other half.
I think if you come from a stand-up environment, it's probably easier adjustment because you're used to working nights, you're used to working late.
Have
nights.
you been able to work a day like some of the slower days and still go do mics?
Yeah, I'll still do. Definitely not mics, but. At the Cellar, like you can have like a slated slot time, and so it'll be like 11:30.
And you're not like burnt out.
Sometimes it's like some days I'll be burnt out, and like I'll know when not to put in avails for like the previous week. I'll be like, oh no, this is probably going to be a heavy week.
This is the third of 3 shows,
right? Or I'm like just tired.
Yeah.
And I have no new material that I've been anxious to try out, so I won't as often go in, but. When I do, I'm like, it serves more of a break than it does.
Do they throw SNL in your intro now?
Yes, it's cool.
That's kind of cool.
So yesterday,
be fun.
You went to the office for a few hours, and then what?
I went to the office for a few hours, and then yesterday was like I want to say the first half of the day, or this 4 hours of the day was one of those days where you missed everything by 10 seconds. Like the train or the door closing or that kind of thing. And so or you made a decision. Normally I'll trust my gut on a decision, but sometimes I'll make a decision that's like anti-gut, just be like, let's just give it a shot kind of thing. Like the example being when I left the office, I took, I went to get, my girl's birthday card, went to get a Valentine's Day card, and then I went to Murray's Cheese to get,
so good.
Like, the best cheese on the planet.
Yeah.
Like we got this brie truffle. I can't wait to fucking try. It's
nice.
Gonna be awesome.
It's Valentine's Day.
Yeah. And then from there, I took the train to from Grand Central to Union Square, and then I hate taking the 405 all the way to.
By the way, Brie Truffle sounds like a porn star.
Sure. Yeah.
Did you see Brie Truffle's new drop?
Yeah.
She's a chef.
They gave $130,000.
Chef
Michael Cohen gave $130,000 to silence Brie Truffle.
Yeah.
So
I did a 405 Union Square. I hate taking the 405 to all the way to Barclays because it takes forever.
Oh yeah.
I'd rather just walk underground to the end. The end wasn't coming, so I took the Q.
Yeah.
The Express.
And the Q goes to D-Cobb, where you can either switch to the R, which would bring you to like a much closer exit to my apartment from Atlantic Barclays, or just take the Q and then you have to walk a bit above ground to like 5-10 more minutes to get to my apartment. And so normally I'll just hop off at D-Cobb and then just wait for the R train. But my gut was saying, don't do it. Just take the Q the whole way. The R is fucking stupid during the day. And in general, it's pretty dumb. But I was like, nah, you know what? Get off the way for the R. Like, there's a bunch of people waiting. It means it must be coming soon.
Subway context clues.
Right. And so I got off and then waited like 10 minutes and the R just wasn't coming. Then another Q train came. So I was like, all right, let me hop back on that. And so if I hadn't made that like 10-second decision,
right,
I would have been fine.
I had a big rant like 3 podcasts ago about the express and the local.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you get on the express and then the local comes and then the local doors close and the local leaves.
Right.
And then another local comes and it's like, why am I on an express?
Right.
The whole thing.
I
I get very frustrated.
I could talk about the MTA
for
fucking, I hate them so much.
Yeah.
But I won't get into it.
So you went back home.
Uh-huh.
And then your girl.
I just remember.
To pick out which jersey you were going to wear.
Oh no, last night was not the game.
Oh, that's right.
Tonight.
That's right.
Yeah.
There was no game.
What's it called? I thought I would get home at like 3:30 and ended up entering my apartment at like 4 and just be like, that fucking 10 seconds cost me all this fucking
30
time.
minutes of home time.
Yeah, and it just so I had all this. I also went to pick up from the office. I went to pick up these incredible new sweatshirts I got made. I went to do that first. That was the first Valentine's Day gift.
As like merch?
No. Yeah, I'll just show you. I'll just show you right now.
Oh, got it.
Is the idea? Are you trying to? Your wife? Your girlfriend has a day job, and you're trying to like be home like for like when she like. Wow, that was fast.
Yeah.
It's the
Obama portrait.
The Obama portrait.
Yeah.
I wanted to get it. Like the instant I saw, I was like, I got to put that on a sweatshirt or something.
Yeah.
You have a store. You have a guy.
You got to take him down to Canal Street.
I have a guy that I go to. That I went to like 2 or 3 years that I'll get like. I had these photographs I wanted to put on shirts.
Right.
And he did it like really
That's
well,
fun.
and straightforward.
Crying Jordan face sweatshirt.
Yes, and so I picked those up from him yesterday.
Thumbs down guy sweatshirt.
I want to get the girl that's you know, black girl that's doing this face.
Yeah.
I want to get that.
I'm just thinking of all the memes.
What do you call it? So many. Anyway, so you go back
that's
home.
That goofy black guy that's like that or whatever. Not thumbs up, but it's like always used for
this one.
Yeah,
guy,
this one.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
guy.
what's his
that
name?
from?
I've seen the movie. It's like a short film that released in England.
So are you trying to get home for like when she gets out of work?
No. I just knew I had more shit to do.
Yeah.
Or stuff that I wanted to get done.
Yeah.
It was the looming thing was we were going to eat pizza at some point, and there was the Cavs Thunder game that was on last night.
Is she a basketball fan?
No.
Oh, okay.
You have to pick and choose your time.
It was just like,
and it's the new Cavs, so it's exciting.
I wanted to see them.
Yeah.
See how they were running.
2-0.
They're doing well, but let's see if it's. I still think it's fluky. I think LeBron's that good of a player to like lift the entire squad, and they play well with him. But
I like the new Cavs. I like the whole narrative. It's very fun.
Who do the Knicks play on Valentine's Day?
they're playing the Wizards today.
So that's it. And I'm just curious. So was this a struggle going to a basketball game on Valentine's Day, or is this understood?
Her birthday's on Friday, so
Right.
The big
more
celebration is to that.
Yeah, and like it's all sort of blended together.
What's your go-to?
So.
What's your arena food choice?
I've only been to the Garden 2 or 3 times, and so usually I'll just eat like outside of the Garden
At the Penzi?
at the Penzi or whatever it's called. But I usually go to Barclays if I want to watch basketball.
Right.
I'll watch the Nets.
But
play
in general,
whoever.
are you a hot dog guy or a
No,
nachos?
like fish tacos or whatever
Nice.
it is.
Yeah, we're in 2018 where you can get fish tacos.
At Barclays, you can get fish
They
tacos.
have great food at Barclays.
Calexico is amazing.
Did you end up doing sets last night, or did you go back out?
I
or
did.
no?
I ended up. So I watched the game and then sat with my girl while she watched her reality shows until like 10:30.
Bachelor Winter Games.
Yeah, all that nonsense. Andy Cohen has mastered the art of filling like airtime with just the same show.
Oh yeah.
Like what was it? Real Housewives of. No, it was Bethany.
Parsippany.
Yeah, just my mom puttering on a Patel brothers. It was like this new show, Bethany and Frederick.
Yeah,
they have a show on Bravo where they're like trying to flip apartments that are but like flipping like 5 million to like 6 million. Oh, like awesome.
I was just talking about this with my wife, actually. We saw a commercial for it, and I was like, what is that? And she had to explain to me that apparently Bethany was on an episode of Frederick's show, and they had such good chemistry, they just decided to make a show out of it.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
Bethany's like on Shark Tank now. I'm like, how are you a shark?
Yeah.
Is Skinny Girl really bringing in that much money?
She's not as qualified as A-Rod or Spanx Lady.
Has Shark Tank jumped?
I still am into it.
I still think it's a perfect TV show.
It's awesome.
But infusing the new sharks is not my favorite.
Some of them are better than others.
The Prophet is better.
Oh, I like The Prophet. Marcus Lemonis.
I love Marcus Lemonis.
Yeah, you'd like him.
He's the best.
I love the vitamin water guy or the Snapple
He's
guy.
good.
He's been great.
But
he's very articulate about like what he's looking for, and I appreciate his insights.
Prophet guy tried to do a spin-off that was not as good, called The Partner, where it was like him trying to do like an apprentice type thing.
Are you
It didn't do well?
No, it was the first episode was like it was missing all the things you want from The Prophet.
Are you pro Chris Sacca episodes or anti Chris Sacca episodes?
I'm not caught up on Shark Tank.
Okay, yeah.
Who's Chris Sacca?
Sacca is like a big Silicon Valley billionaire.
But is he the guy in the ponytail and the black shirt?
No, he's he wears the old Western shirts.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And he always goes at it. He always goes in on Mark.
Yeah.
And he needles Mark. And then they like yell at each other because Mark thinks he's smarter. I love that show so much.
It's a fucking.
I hate that they moved it off Friday nights though. That was like a staple.
Yeah. So you had like a late night set last night at the Cellar.
Yeah. So after that Bravo nonsense, at Cellar at like. I thought it was at midnight, but it ended up being at like 12:45.
Yeah.
Like I just placed the numbers in my head. As to what time I was up. So I got there at like, I want to say, probably like right around 11:15, 11:20, and then like just bullshit for a bit. Went up at like 12. I'm going to say I went up at like 1.
Wow.
And then
1 a.m. it's still packed.
It wasn't packed, but it was like, I would say maybe like 60%.
It's amazing.
But yeah, it was I mean, it was a great room.
Yeah, nice.
But like, yeah, the 7:30 and 9:30 shows were sold out.
That's
like,
great.
Completely packed. But yeah.
That's a long day.
Yeah, and then went to bed. I got home, went to bed at like 1:50 something.
Yeah. No wind down. Just go right to bed.
I should have wound down yesterday because I felt like I was just like laying there for a little bit, or like at least just sat and stared at a wall for a little bit before I went to bed. But
are you rolling and scrolling? Are you looking at scores?
No. Like I know there's that thing where you're not supposed to look at your phone. Like
I do it. It's terrible.
Yeah, 20, 30 minutes before bed or whatever the hell it is. And I try to.
Right.
Even if I don't, I'll just lay in bed for a little bit, just with my eyes open before I'm actually sleeping.
Let's get to the blow off.
Sure.
Unless you have anything else. Is there a time recently you've blown somebody off, or do you have a go-to thing for getting out of things?
I haven't blown anyone off recently, but that might just be a function of no one's asked me to really do anything recently. Go to, I'll either be like, yo, my bad, I can't make it, but there's no like.
You don't even attempt a story. You just say, yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it like, if I'm late to something, then it's like, I'll be late. I'd rather be late than cancel.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely be late. I'll be like, sorry, I was late. Like the trains ran late or whatever.
We should rename the podcast to "Sorry, I was so late."
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever told this before. I had a friend in high school who he definitely had he was one of my best friends in high school, and he always had trouble getting to school on time. And so somehow he figured out that if he was he didn't want to, he was Asian, and he didn't want to admit to his parents that he was like missing school or something, and so like he couldn't, whatever the thing was like that gives you permission to be late to get signed, he couldn't get it signed like because he didn't want to tell his parents. And he somehow figured out that if he was late to school, he would get suspended, but if he was didn't show up at all, he would only get detention. And so he would be driving to school and he'd be on his way and he'd realize he was going to be late for homeroom and he would just turn around and go home and just miss the whole day. He had somehow gamed the system.
What a loophole.
It was such a weird loophole in the system. It didn't make no sense.
But then how many absences were you allowed?
Way less than he had. I think they found out when he, didn't get into it and it had to go to his safety school or something. But it was crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What a
bizarre loophole. That's our public school system for you. There you go.
Wait, I mean, poor kid.
I know, right? Yeah. Things worked out for him. He figured it out eventually.
Okay.
He's doing okay.
He had a car and he was still.
Yeah.
He's Jack Ma now.
Yeah. So anyway, so you're not afraid to just be like, I don't need. Yeah.
It's very millennial.
Yeah.
Yo. Can't
I mean,
make it.
I'm honestly just trying to remember when. And
Yeah.
a lot of times, I was supposed to. I had said was considering going to my cousin's Super Bowl party in Edison, New Jersey, but that was when I know there's a likelihood I'm going to cancel on something. I will give I will be like manage people's expectations up until I cancel. So it'd be like for my cousin's Super Bowl party, I was like, I'll probably come, but just to let you know that's a work night. It was like SNL was the night.
Qualify it.
Yeah.
On top of that, it's my birthday, so I'll probably be getting fucking hammered. And I can usually roll after a long night like that, but Amy doesn't have the same recovery speed as I do, and she'll want to sleep, and I'm not going to fucking leave her.
And then and it's in Edison.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, it's like an hour and a half away from me, so I'll manage the expectations rather than cancel something. And if I cancel, then it's a very straightforward, like either I don't feel like doing this anymore, or whatever the legit reason is.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. Good for you. Some people lie and some people tell the truth.
Yeah, you get in a lot less trouble if you make up a stupid white lie. Yeah, as my wife will tell you.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest fight we get in. I try to avoid what I think are going to be terrible conversations by making up a stupid, insignificant lie, and then that gets me in way more trouble than what that conversation was going to get me into.
Yeah.
The lie.
Yeah, just being caught in the stupid lie.
You have to keep track of them all.
It's just the worst. Yeah. So that's a note to.
What's like a typical white lie?
Should I tell this story? Am I telling this story? Oh man, I had a night to myself, a Saturday night to myself. Jamie had plans, and I was on the couch watching Versace, the Versace thing.
Is that good, by the way?
It's wonderful.
Okay.
I love all that shit.
I saw the first one. I haven't seen anymore.
And I don't judge. I was clipping my toenails on the couch. This is something that you can't do when your wife's around. But I was so I did that, and I hear the door opening. So I quick grabbed the clippings and grabbed the nail clipper, and I ran into the bathroom. And she walked in and was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I was just peeing." And then she went in the bathroom and saw that remnants of her makeup was still in the toilet. She's like, "You weren't peeing." And then I was like, "Yeah, but I peed before." And it was like, "What?" And then I had to cop to the whole thing, and it led to a whole fight. Cause she's like, "Why'd you lie? It's so stupid. Why'd you lie? And then why'd you add to the lie?
Why'd you forget to flush?"
Why? There's so many stupid layers to it. It's just if I just was fine with being caught with the tone, it would have been a 3-second thing. It's just a horrible flaw in my personality that I need to work on.
Well, you've clearly been in some previous, relationships where lying was the norm or something. Maybe I don't know.
I'm a habitual liar.
Just execute your lies.
That's
better.
why that's why I put it right out there at the beginning of this is with my wife who I've now been together for many years, but this is who I am, and
we're trying to teach.
I'm going to be unapologetic about it, and sometimes that gets me in trouble.
So far, living together is good.
Yes, it's been pretty seamless. Yeah. I think the key to relationships is having the same OCD tendencies.
Yes.
If you don't have the same range of OCD, then you're fucked, and we have the same OCD range, and we both feel the urge to clean whenever.
Right, that's good.
So,
and she's down with the crazy schedule?
Yeah, I mean, she used to work at Stand Up New York as a waitress, so she knows it gets Yeah. And on top of that, it's the schedule's changed a bit now just from having to work, and if I were a single guy, I'd be just probably killing myself to do stand-up.
Right.
But now I'm like, I do want to value a relationship.
Have you partaken? We were both NBC pages, and we got to dabble in it. Have you partaken in the after parties and the after parties and the after parties?
I've never made it to the after, which is, I feel like is just
right
like
Death.
lunch. Yeah, at that point. But yes, I've known Che for forever. So,
so
even before
right.
I started, like I would be going, and I think I probably tempered down a bit now, having like being at the show.
Yeah.
Than like back when I wasn't at the show, because
Right.
back
then
it
it's
was
a
like,
novelty. Now it's like part of your.
Now it's like, okay, cool, but I'm beat.
Yeah.
It's 2:00. I've already had a few drinks. Just like once.
There's no need to keep staying.
I could
that's great, man.
Just go home.
Well, we're psyched for your success, man.
Thank you very much, guys.
Me
Thank
personally,
you very much.
obviously, so much fun working with you on Vidiots.
Yes, it was a good time, and I'm glad that
so many people are doing great things. All the people from the couch.
Yeah.
Everyone, people fucking doing. Jared's doing great. What's Akash up to?
Akash is doing the podcast Flagrant 2
Flagrant
with
2
Schultz.
Yeah.
And they're doing great. And Sydney and Marie came, and they were hilarious on this podcast. They're doing like their own half hours and stuff.
Do you want to let people know when Saturday Night Live is on?
Yeah,
We're
when
back.
Is that on? Is that on like I can see that on like a Tuesday night? That was a question we used to get legitimately as pages. When can I watch that?
When can I watch
When do they tape it?
When does
So
it
do you
tape?
have to work on Saturdays? Yes, it's live. And
Yeah.
In the name.
yes.
So, yeah.
It's back on. We're back on March 3rd with Charles Barkley and Migos.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Love Bart.
And Twitter.
Finding Nimesh, Instagram Finding Nimesh, Facebook Finding Nimesh, and that's Nimesh as in Nimesh.
Well, I'll just reiterate. I reached out to you literally like 12 hours ago. Hey, do you want to do this podcast? Thinking it would be a quick no, and you came right back and said, "Sure, I'll do it." So we very much appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
It's not easy. It's part of your hiatus. You're on vacation.
Oh, this is
so
fun, man. This is not work. This is
we
cool.
very much appreciate it, and best of luck, man.
Thank you very much.
busy,
Stay busy, everyone.
Stay busy. Thank you.
They only get my voicemail 'cause I'm busy. Whenever I get with her, say I'm busy. And I'm gonna hit you later 'cause I'm busy. Busy with her.